How we roll here. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Bell, and you are here for first appearance. The purpose of first appearance is so that you're informed of the charges against you. I will determine if probable cause exists for those charges. Probable cause means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations, and that presumption of innocence will stay with you through every course of the proceedings unless and until the Office of the State Attorney is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We will set your conditions of pretrial release today, which is your bail or bond. In most cases, you have a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit under the warrant that led to your arrest. We'll determine if that bond should be raised, lowered, or remain the same, and whether or not there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like the services of the Office of the Public Defender, I'll gladly appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. You're advised that you have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, to include family, friends, and counsel. Finally, and most importantly, you have an absolute right to remain silent, and I encourage you to do so. For there is an Assistant State Attorney here in the courtroom with me this afternoon, and if you tend to say something to incriminate yourself, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. Now, may I please have each and every one of you raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. When you hear your name, may you please step forward to the podium. Skylar Alamo?
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. May I please have your date of birth?
6/7/96.
Thank you so much. I have for you today 2 charges: battery on a person 65 years of age or older, and false information during a criminal investigation. There's probable cause for those charges. Are you going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney, or would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
Public defender.
Yes, ma'am. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
No priors, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Judge, her mother, the victim of the battery's daughter, is here. The other gentleman is unrelated, except in that he is the victim of Cody Rosado, who apparently was just arrested. He's the stabber, the alleged stabber.
And, ma'am, I have an address for you on Canterbury Street.
Yes.
Is that a good address for you?
Yes.
And how long have you lived there?
About a year.
And you have family in the area, I see that. Are you currently working?
Yes.
What do you do for work?
I work at McDonald's.
You work at McDonald's?
Yes.
And how long have you worked there?
8-9 months, I believe.
I'm going to set your bond as to count 1 at $1,000. I'm going to set your bond as to count 2 at $1,000. A condition of that bond is that you're to have no contact with Deborah St. Thomas.
Okay.
Ma'am, why are you shaking your head?
My mom does not want that.
I wish your mom was here to tell me
She's
that.
watching my grandson.
Okay. And she can look to amend that, but for right now,
I've explained that to her.
in an abundance of caution, I'm going to order that. Okay? She can let the state attorney know that she'd like contact, and then if we could bring her into court on a different day, she's more than welcome to do so.
Apparently they reside in separate duplex units.
Okay.
The duplex It's the whole house. My mom and my brother are on one side, and my daughter and my grandson are on this half. So my daughter has to stay there.
Is there any way that separates them?
The house part is separated.
Okay.
They have their own entrance, own everything.
Is it different addresses?
Yes.
Okay, they just can't live together.
No, they don't.
And she can't have contact with grandma.
My mom does watch my grandson, so that's because.
So someone might have to facilitate that until I hear from your mom herself,
I'll do
okay? Because my job today is to protect her with this no contact order
that. Okay.
until she comes in and tells me that she doesn't believe she needs that.
We didn't
Okay.
even think she was going to be arrested.
Okay,
We just thought Cody.
well. Number one rule is keep our hands to ourselves.
You're absolutely.
Okay, so, Skylar, your bond is $1,000 is to count one, $1,000 is to count two. I'm going to order no contact with your grandma, Miss Deborah St. Thomas. So let me explain no contact to you. No contact means no contact of any kind. You may not call, you may not write, you may not email, you may not text message, you may not go where she lives or where she works, and you may not contact her through a third party or social media. Okay, any way that you might imagine having contact until further order of the court, I forbid you to do so. For if you did and the court found out about it, the court could revoke your bond and you could be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It's also important to know that here in the state of Florida, victims do not have the ability to drop charges, as that function rests solely with the office of the state attorney. As for the contact, it's for you. So for example, if you're out and about and you see her, you should walk the other way. If you pick up the phone and you hear her voice, you should hang up. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
If you were sharing a home with that person, I would allow you to go by one time to grab your belongings. So in order to do that, you would need to contact the sheriff's office, and they would arrange a time to meet you there with a deputy. If you are separated, they are two separate addresses. That means don't walk next door and don't talk to grandma until further order of the court.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to have you back in court on September 21st at 1:30 p.m. in courtroom E here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
1:30.
9/21.
Ms. Straw, you're welcome. Good luck to you. Ms. Straw,
Yes, ma'am.
good afternoon, ma'am. May I please have your date of birth?
8/11/1964.
Thank you so much. I have for you today a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for that. Are you going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney, or would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
I'll do the public defender.
Yes, ma'am. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Defendant has an adjudication for DUI in 2017 and a driving while license suspended or revoked, 2010 breach of peace adjudication, 2009 battery adjudication, 2008 felony battery adjudication.
Thank you. And ma'am, I have an address for you on Abbey Avenue in Spring Hill.
Correct.
And how long have you lived there?
3 years.
Do you have family in this area?
I grew up in this area. I have my children and my parents passed away. My children and my family here, yes.
Yes, ma'am. And are you currently working?
I went to Springstead High School. Pardon?
Are you currently working?
Yes, ma'am. I work at Sam's Club. I do the food demonstrations.
Okay.
5 days a week, Wednesday and Sunday.
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. Going to bring you back to court on September 18th at 9 a.m. in courtroom C here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Okay?
All
Thank you.
right. You're welcome, and I appointed the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Do I be able to bond out today?
Yes, ma'am, if you have the $1,000 or work with a bondsman.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Ms. Safir? Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello,
Hi, yes, may I please have your date of birth?
7/30/67.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I have for you today a charge of battery that's domestic in nature. There's probable cause for that charge. You're going to represent yourself. Hire a private attorney. Would you like the services, the office of the public defender?
Oh, I was hoping to use a public defender, but I think I make too much money.
Well, I can temporarily appoint them. You'll fill out the indigency form, and then the clerk will let me know whether or not you qualify for them. So I'll temporarily appoint them to represent you.
Your Honor, I have a witness that she attacked me first.
And ma'am, I would encourage you to speak to your attorney about that. I'm going to listen to see if you have criminal history so I can see what bond is appropriate in this matter. Madam State?
No priors, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Safir, I have an address for you on London Avenue in Spring Hill.
1-2. That's my sister's house, yes.
Is that where you live?
No, I live in New York.
Okay.
I'm down here because our mother died. Eva needs my help.
And how long have you been down here?
Since Thursday afternoon.
And if I may ask you, what is a good address if I wanted to send you mail for you to get it?
920 Broadway, Rensselaer, New York.
You have a zip code?
12144.
Thank you. And how long have you lived in New York?
Almost all of my life.
Do you have family here in Hernando County?
Yes,
And whom does that family include?
my sister, and my niece, and her kids.
Do you own property here in Hernando County?
No,
Are
I
you,
don't own property anywhere.
are you currently working?
No, I've been disabled for the last 28 years.
I'm going to set your bond at $500. Condition of
Will
that,
I be able to? Will I have access to my purse?
I don't know, ma'am. You'll have to take that up with the jail.
Thank you.
I'm going to order you to have no contact with Nicole Williams. Did you hear me describe no contact earlier?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you understand it fully?
Yes, Eva will take me to a hotel and go to her house and get my stuff and bring it to me at the hotel. No contact.
No contact, yes ma'am. And so if your items are there and you need to go by that home, you may go by one time with the assistance of law enforcement. So what that means is that you will need to contact the Hernando County Sheriff's Office first, and they'll arrange a time to meet you there with a deputy so you can grab your belongings. And I'm going to have you back in court on September 18th at 9 a.m. in courtroom C here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Acevedo?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. May I please have your date of birth?
1/22/75.
Thank you. I have a charge for you today of knowingly driving while license canceled, suspended, or revoked. Are you going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney, or would you like the services, the office of the public defender?
Public defender.
Yes, sir. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, the defendant has 2 convictions for grand theft in 2018 In 2013, conviction for driving while license suspended 2 or more. 2011, driving while license suspended, habitual traffic offender. 2010, 2 driving while license suspended and 1 disorderly conduct conviction. 2007, 2 more driving while license suspended. 2006, 3 counts of obtaining property by worthless check. 2006, driving while license suspended. 2003, possession of cocaine and purchase of cocaine. 2 counts of grand theft, and in 2002, burglary of a structure. Do you want me to go on?
No, ma'am. Thank you. And Mr. Acevedo, I have an address for you on Shannon Avenue in Spring Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good address?
Yes, that's my home, ma'am.
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
We purchased the home about 2 years ago.
Do you have family in the area?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Do you have family in the area?
Yes, my wife and my kids reside in the home.
Okay. And are you currently working?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for work?
Construction, home remodeling, handyman work, which, by the way, I was wondering if I could get ROR so I don't lose my job.
Oh, no, sir. Not with your
Okay.
history. I'm not RORing you.
No, really.
I'm going to set your
Okay.
bond at $2,000.
How much?
$2,000.
Okay. So that's 200 with bondsman?
You'll have to work that out with the bondsman. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. I'm going to bring you back to court on September 21st at 1:30 p.m. in courtroom E here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, sir. Mr. Clay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. May I please have your date of birth?
167.
Thank you, sir. I have for you today a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for that charge. You're going to represent yourself. Hire a private attorney. Would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
Public defender?
Yes, sir. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Mr. Clay,
I'd like to know why I'm being charged with this when I was sleeping in the woods charging my phone. And I woke up and go to a restaurant.
Remember that right to remain
Yeah.
silent? I encourage you to use that. Because whatever you tell me today could be used against you. Right now, I'm just inquiring what your history is to determine if the bond amount that they have on this paperwork is appropriate.
Mr. Clay has a 2023 conviction for criminal mischief, a 2022 conviction for trespassing, 2019 contempt of court, 2016 violation of DV injunction, 2012 burglary of an unoccupied structure, 2010 assault, also in 2010 driving while license suspended, battery second or subsequent, 2008 simple battery, another battery, 2007 driving while license suspended, 2007 false report to Leo, and driving while license suspended or revoked habitual traffic offender, and fleeing and eluding. You want me to continue?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Your Honor, he is currently on probation, so warrant will be forthcoming.
Thank you. Mr. Clay, do you currently live
Yes,
here in
ma'am.
Hernando County?
Yes, ma'am, my whole life.
And where is that? Where do you live?
Highway 19.
Highway 19, by what?
Out North Cliff.
Do you have an address that I could mail you a letter to?
4643 Crescent Road, Spring Hill, Florida. 34608.
Whose address is that?
My stepmom's.
Okay. And so you have family in this area?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you currently working?
Yes, ma'am. Royal Street Service.
How long have you been doing that?
3 years.
So, Mr. Clay, I'm going to keep your bond at the $1,000 pursuant to the schedule. Going to bring you back to court on September 18th at 9 a.m. in courtroom C. Sounds like there's going to be a warrant coming for violation of probation.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Hovance?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. May I please have your date of birth?
5/16/1971, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I have for you today a charge of driving while license canceled, suspended, or revoked. There's probable cause for that charge. Are you going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney? Would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
Any service of the public defender, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, Mr. Hovance has 3 prior DUIs, 2 in 2006 and 1 in 2005. He also has a 2011 felony conviction for battery, a 2010 conviction for battery, 2008 driving while license suspended, and DUI 4th or subsequent. 2007 driving while license suspended, 2006 possession of marijuana, 2006 also has a refusal to submit, 2004 obstructing and resisting without violence, and also in 2004 3 batteries and 1 damage per criminal mischief.
Thank you. And, sir, I have an address for you on Haddock Drive in Spring Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good address for you?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you lived there?
Oh, 20 years.
Do you have family in the area?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you currently working?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. Going to bring you back to court on September 21st at 1:30 p.m. in courtroom E here in the courthouse in Brooksville. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hunt? Good afternoon, sir. May I please have your date of birth?
8/18/1978.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I have for you today a violation of an injunction for protection against domestic violence. There's probable cause for that charge. You're going to represent yourself. Hire a private attorney. Would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
I'm the public defender. I'm not sure what happened or how I violated anything. I never went near the person that I haven't set foot on their property, their work property, or gone any contact whatsoever. I haven't spoken to her since April when I left the house.
Well, I have a warrant here that was, so just so you know, I have a warrant here that was signed by Judge Eineman. He found probable cause for this charge. I will let you speak to your attorney about the facts and circumstances of that. I'm going to listen to your criminal history and see what bond is appropriate in this matter.
Mr. Hunt has a 2021 conviction for possessing a revoked driver's license and paraphernalia, 2022 driving while license suspended, 2001 driving while license suspended, and possession of marijuana less than 20 grams.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Mr. Hunt, I have an address for you on West Street in Brooksville.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good address for you?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you lived there?
3 months.
How long have you lived in Hernando County?
Almost all my life.
Do you have family in this area?
A few years, ma'am.
And whom does that family
Much.
include?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
Whom does that family include?
I have a cousin and an aunt, and that's about it.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. I have a wife and my wife and kids. They're out in Spring Hill.
And are you currently
2
working?
boys, 2 girls. No, ma'am, I'm disabled. I just recently paid off all my probation fines, finished my classes, I got community service to do and a few, court fines to pay, and I was trying to, get done and move on.
I'm gonna set your bond at $5,000. Clearly, Mr. Hunt, there is an injunction. You are not to have contact with Miss Anna. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I didn't go near her to begin with. I know that I need to talk to the public defender.
I'm not asking for
don't even know what-
explanation. I'm just telling
Okay.
you, abide by the conditions of your injunction. For every
I
time
have
that
to.
you don't, you will have this. And so,
Yes, ma'am, I
I'm
have
gonna
to,
set
I
your,
promise you I have to.
I'm gonna set your bond at $5,000. I'm gonna bring you back to court on September 18th at 9 a.m. in courtroom C here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Mr. McCray,
Yes, ma'am.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
May I please have your date of birth?
1391.
Thank you so much. I have for you today a charge of battery that's domestic in nature. There's probable cause for that charge. You're going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney. Would you like the services of the Office of the Public Defender?
Public defender, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Mr. McCray has a 2021 conviction for driving while license suspended, and also DUI, and another 2 more driving while license suspended in 2020. That's it.
Thank you. And Mr. McCray, I have an address for you on Kaufman Road in Brooksville.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a good address for you?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you lived there?
11 years.
Do you have family in the area?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you currently working?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for work?
Currently building fence.
How long have you been doing that?
About 4 months.
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. Condition of that bond is for you to have no contact with Mason Hanson.
Yes, ma'am.
No contact means
The only issue is him and my son go to school together. They ride the same bus, and we live next door to each other.
they can have contact, you can't have contact.
Okay, I just wanted to...
But you
Make
can't
sure.
relay any messages to him through your son. That would be a violation of that contact.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So no contact means no contact of any kind. You may not call, you may not write, you may not email, you may not text message, you may not go where they live, you may not go where they work, you may not contact them through a third party or social media. So any way that
Yes,
you might
ma'am.
imagine having contact, the court forbids you to do so. Or if you did and the court found out about it, the court could revoke your bond and you could be held without bond until the charges are resolved.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'm gonna, so, set your bond at $1,000, gonna bring you back to court on September 18th at 9 a.m. in courtroom C here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Wiley. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
May I please have your date of birth?
October 7th, 1978.
Yes, sir. I have for you today 2 charges, battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. Are you going to represent yourself, hire a private attorney? Would you like the services to the Office of the Public Defender? I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, Mr. Wiley has in 2023 4 prior separate convictions for trespassing and 1 accidental or careless burning on land. In 2022, he has 4 separate adjudications for trespassing, and in 2021, he has 3 separate adjudications for trespassing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Mr. Wiley, do you live here in Hernando County?
Yeah, I mean, I do have an address that I can receive mail at.
Okay, and what is that address?
It's, I think, 78 Lawrence, Lawrence, and that's in Spring. I don't know the zip code.
How long have you lived here in Hernando County?
I've been here about, I don't know, 3 years. I came out here with a friend of mine who's kind of been in our own stuff.
And do you have family in this area?
I have like a couple friends that have been, but my family's back in Texas. That's where I'm ultimately trying to get back to.
And are you currently working?
No, man. Yeah, I don't have an ID or a social security card. I lost it a year and a half ago. So. Actually, I'm social ministry that's trying to help me get change a little bit.
Yes, sir. I'm going to set your bond as to count 1 at $5,000. Set your bond as to count 2 at $1,000. We're going to have you back in court on September 21st at 1:30 p.m. in courtroom E here in the courthouse in Brooksville.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And then jail, I should also have Sammy Lee. Good afternoon.
Mr. Lee's at podium. We have 2 cases, 23 MM2422, which is a driving suspended and possession of paraphernalia. The stated agreed to 30 days in that, and there's also in 23 MM1438 violation of probation on the original charge of petty theft. The probation recommendation was 30 days. We'd be asking for time served of 26 on both cases. Acceptable to you guys?
And Madam State?
State is comfortable with time served, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Nutty?
Yes,
Thank you. And so, Mr. Lee, would you like to resolve your matters today with credit for time served?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand you're going to be adjudicated guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you please tell me your full name?
Sammy Lee III,
And how old are you, sir?
27.
Can you read and write and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
You understand in case 23 MM2422 that you are waiving your right to trial by jury, to confront the witnesses against you, and to any further discovery.
Yes, ma'am.
You're also waiving your right to have the state prove the case beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand you're giving up these constitutional rights to take care of it with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And in case 23 MM2422 to the charges of driving while license canceled, suspended, or revoked, and possession of drug paraphernalia, how do you wish to plead? You may plead no contest.
No contest.
No contest means you're not going to fight or contest the charge, that you believe it's in your best interest to resolve it this way.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that how you feel?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your no contest plea. I'll find that it's freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty, assess the standard fine and court costs, as well as the cost of prosecution, cost of defense, and cost of incarceration. Sentence you to 26 days in the Hernando County Jail with 26 days credit for time served. And Madam Clerk, may I please have the amount of those fees, fines, and costs?
Yes, $648.
And that's $648.
$48.
And in case 23MM1438, as to the violation of probation, Mr. Lee, how do you wish to plead? You may admit your violation. Do you admit
Yes,
you
ma'am.
violated your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
And by entering an admission, you understand that you're waiving your right to have a hearing in which the state could prove that you willfully and substantially violated your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your admission, find that it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll revoke and terminate your probation, sentence you to 26 days in the Hernando County Jail with 26 days credit for time served. I'll adjudicate you guilty of the underlying charge if not already done so. We'll assess the standard fine and court cost to include a cost of prosecution and cost of defense. And Madam Clerk, may I please have the amount of those fees, fines, and costs?
It's $100 for cost.
And that's an additional $100 for a cost of prosecution. Is there anything further for
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lee, if there's nothing else holding you in county jail, you're subject to release today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
jail, I believe that concludes our first appearance.